All right, y'all. Welcome back to Final Boss Auto Hub, and today we're gonna have a difficult discussion with my fellow BMW enthusiasts. Um, the topic is the new 2025 BMW M5 Ugly. Um, let's dive right in, right? So, as you know, I'm a speed demon myself. I like to speak about the vehicle's performance and specs before we get into it, and then we can go on to having that much needed difficult conversation that we need to have, right? So. This car produces 717 horsepower with 738 pounds for the torque, made it to a 4.4 twin turbo hybrid system V8. Um, that's crazy. Those numbers are pretty good. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that's outrageous for an executive sedan to have that much horsepower. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Let's keep it going. This vehicle can be switched from rear wheel to all wheel drive whenever the driver pleases. Has active damper systems. It has rear wheel steering. That's awesome. I'm not even gonna lie. I wish I could experience that. I would like to see how that feels driving something that has a little bit of rear wheel steering going for it. Huge brakes are standard, and this car accelerates 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. I gotta take my glasses off for that shit. 3.5 seconds. Do you know how fast that is for a sedan of that size to be moving through traffic? Like, you can imagine you driving like Miss Daisy going about your business and some long ass sedan drive by and just boop, 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 and just accelerate on you, and you thinking you was doing something. Yo, BMW, that's what we doing? That's what we doing now? We just having big sedans go crazy. You know what? I'm not mad at it. Let's keep going. The top speed of this vehicle is 190 miles per hour. Do you know how fast that is for an executive sedan of that size to be doing 190 miles per hour? That's outrageous. Like, yo, what y'all doing? Like, you know what? I'm over here trying to be professional, but y'all not being professional to me. Like, why is your car so damn fast? Like, why is you beefing it up so like, what's going on? Why is these cars so beefed up? Can somebody explain that to me? Like, your car's 190 miles per hour. Like, what? You know what? I digress. Let's keep going. BMW getting me tight now. Let's keep going. BMW estimate that this M5 14.8 kilowatt battery can go 25 miles on electric alone from fully charged. And we don't have any information on the fuel consumption. I mean, it is a performance car. I won't expect the fuel to be that great. If you buy that car, you know what you're buying it for. But supposedly the hybrid system is supposed to help with the fuel consumption. To be honest with you, I doubt it. They probably geared it more for performance due to the sheer size of the vehicle. That's just my guess. But like, let's keep going. Essentially, this M5 has 100 more horsepower from the previous generation, making it the most powerful M5 they ever created. All right, BMW, I see you, babe. You know what? I'm with it. I like the horsepower wars that's going. I like that BMW's throwing their hat in the war and battling with Dodge, battling with Chevy, battling with Ford, and just saying, hey, listen, we got some shit too. We can do this too. Just let us know. You know what I mean? And I'll support it. I support these horsepower wars. Let's keep it going, because I feel like that's just going to push the automakers to develop something that we all want: more sports cars, maybe more different, wider range of vehicles. Just go beyond that we never thought of. You know what I mean? So you know what? Let's just keep going. I really appreciate the horsepower wars that's going on right now. This car is clearly a performer. You know, I can't sit here and say it doesn't have great specs, great numbers. BMW's 4.4 twin turbo V8 is damn near bulletproof. So I'll give it that. It seems like this car is a steady performer in terms of numbers. It doesn't go bad. You know what I mean? It doesn't look bad in terms of the numbers. It's a performer. But let's cut the lights on. This car is a big bitch.
That's a huge bitch.
I'm wilding. I know I said it. Yeah, I said it, but it's a big bitch. Like this, yo, like the car weighs 5,400 pounds. It's heavier than a Ford F-150 Super Cube pickup truck. It's, it's heavier than a Toyota Sienna van. A full-size Toyota Sienna is a heavy vehicle. This is a big girl. And don't get me wrong, I like my big girls. You know I love my big girls. I have love for the big girls. I don't want people to say I'm discriminating. I had a big girl. She was a little freaky. She was wilding. I'm talking about my Dodge Challenger, by the way. You know what I mean? She was a big girl, thick hips, big tires. You know, she was big. The handling wasn't the greatest, but when I needed to get out of it and I stepped on the gas, she was out of there. Had a lot of torque. She was athletic. And right now, the BMW M5 is just an athletic big joint. Like, it's just very athletic. But I think that's the elephant in the room is the sheer size. There's no way you're telling me that you're driving this vehicle and say you want to get on it a little bit, drive a little bit more spirited, maybe hit some highways that's a little bit more curvy. I'm not saying go canyon carving in this thing because it's a super grand tourer, but you want to know that your car is a little athletic and you're on a more curvaceous road. You can't tell me that you won't feel some body roll taking some corners. There's no way. And BMW, I'm being completely unbiased. You know I have one. I will be willing to test drive one and give my unbiased opinion. But there's no way you're telling me a car that weighs 5,400 pounds and the way that it's shaped and designed, that is no form of body roll or a little unsteadiness when you're driving. I feel like it's planted, but it probably doesn't give the most confidence when you're trying to take certain corners and do certain maneuvering. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, she's a little heavy, a little thick. But let's move on. Let's go on and go into the topic of, is the M5 ugly? And just looking at some of the pictures, like looking at the face looked very familiar. It looked like it's a cross between the M340 and the G80. It doesn't have quite the length of the grille, but it has a little bit of a resemblance to the M340's grille, almost like the classic design, but then it has a little bit of a length of the G80 design. So looking at the front of the car, the design language is clearly familiar. You know what you're looking at. You know that it's a BMW. You can tell off the rip. It has somewhat of the big nostrils, like I said just now, but not quite. It kind of reminds you of a cross between the 340 and the G80. And it's like, okay, the face is not too bad, as I'm saying. But then when you go onto the sides and the quarter pan, all the different corner panels and stuff like that, it starts to remind you of the G80 and the M340. Very similar cuts, very similar design. Even at the bottom panel where the door is, a little cut there, you see that in the M340 and the G80. So the side is clearly cut from the G80 and the M340. I think the hybrid system, they had to change up the dynamics of the car because how big the battery pack is, and just the hybrid system, they probably had to bulk the car up to support all that weight and be able to put that big engine system in there. So that's why you have a slightly different look. The rear, to be honest, in my opinion, is what messes the car up. I don't like the rear. The rear just looks horrendous. It looks very bulky. And I'm a fan of big butts. I'm a fan of big Challenger, had a big butt. But just going around it, the rear just looks a little too bulky for me, and I'm not feeling the rear. I think the face is all right. Could do some work, but I think it's all right. The sides of the vehicle and the corner panels look like the G80 and the M340, and I think those are classic designs. But the rear, to me, is the weakest point of this vehicle. I'm just not a fan of it. Even down to the diffuser, how they made the diffuser look with the panel that's coming up like this that separates the two mufflers. I'm just not a big fan of it. Honestly, the car, when you look at it from the rear, it looked like it was made to be a wagon. Like they designed it in their mind, like, hey, we're just gonna make a wagon from this, which clearly they just did. But honestly, in my opinion, on a scale of 1 through 10, I'll probably give it a 6.5. It's not the most ugly vehicle, but it's definitely not the most good-looking vehicle, especially looking at the old generation M5. I feel like that was a looker. That was just a better looking vehicle. It had a sleeper look to it, and then you have my modders who come and put like the front lips, the side skirts, rear spoilers, and diffusers and do it up and make the car look a lot more aggressive in this M form. But looking at this one, I feel like it has some potential, but the rear messes it up, and then the sheer size of the car is just kind of bulky. So I don't think it's necessarily ugly, but I don't think it's necessarily the best looking vehicle either, to be honest with you. So I'm definitely, as I said, 6.5. And if you fellow enthusiasts have other opinions, please feel free to debate me, because you can't sit here and tell me that this thing looks better than the previous generation, because honestly, in my opinion, it don't. It doesn't look better than the G80. It doesn't look better than the M340. It probably looked better than that 750. That 7 Series is hideous. I think it looks better than the 7 Series for sure. But it definitely don't look better than the M8. And specifically the M8 Coupe looks better. The M8 sedan is it's a little big, but I digress. I do think BMW should listen to what their consumers want, especially for the next generation, and figure out a better design language that looks better for the M5. I think people really love the M5 because of it had a sleeper look to it, but then if you really wanted to make it aggressive, you could have. But it's just a nice sleeper looking German precision muscle car that if they don't know what you're driving and they pull up on you at a red light or you on the highway and they don't know how athletic that big body executive sedan is, they will find out within 3 seconds. You feel me? So I hope BMW takes this into account and go back, start sketching, go back and look at what works for you, and just develop and build off of this car. I know we were going into the full EV kind of segment, and I'm glad that I know the manufacturers are kind of pulling it back and going more hybrid, and that's going to be a later video. But I feel like you got to be able to produce a car that looks good if you're going to use a hybrid system. It can't be this bulky, it can't be this robotic, and just do a little bit better. But let's debate. Come on, let's debate. A few of you debated on my last comments. Y'all left some comments. I was answering. I'm with it. I'm with the conversation. If you have a different opinion, I'm with it. Let's have these talks, and that might give me some fuel to make more videos and, do different things on the channel. But as always, thank you for pulling up. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you for the few that's messing with me. Hopefully we can grow. Final boss out.